go.
We're gonna miss you.
Experiment 1. Let me get through experiment 1. I'm going to explain experiment 1. Experiment 1, like it says, we're going to get the relationship between mass and weight. There is a difference between mass and weight. For instance, if you go to the moon, what changes? Your mass or your weight?
Your mass.
Weight.
Your weight.
Your mass.
Mass never changes.
Mass never changes.
The weight does. Why does the weight change on a different planet?
Because of the gravity.
Because it's gravity changes on a different planet, so the mass changes. So the weight changes on a different planet. So for experiment 1, here's what you're going to do. You guys need to look at this. You actually, each group has a slightly different spring scale. This is a large scale so you guys can see, so everybody can see. Here's a mass hanging down. And so if it hangs down perfectly still, how many newtons does it weigh?
It took 5. No, it took 5.5.
About 5.5 or so. A little more than 5. What's the units? Newtons. Okay, so we're in newtons. What you guys are going to do is something similar. Now, if I ask you this question, is the hanging mass in equilibrium?
Yeah.
How do you know?
No,
Because the velocity is constant, so there's no acceleration.
It's not falling or
Right, it's motionless, so the acceleration is 0 when we're in equilibrium. Now, how much is the string pulling? First of all, how much is gravity pulling down?
A lot.
How many newtons?
5.5.
Almost 5.5. How much is the string pulling up?
5.5.
How do you know?
Because it's motionless.
Because you're in equilibrium.
And it's tension, not pulling.
Yeah, it's tension. We technically call it tension because it's a string. So in other words, the object is, the mass is hanging down. It's getting pulled up by the string, so we call it tension. It's getting pulled down by gravity, so we call it gravity force.
oh my god.
Now you guys, I need that spring scale. You guys have slightly smaller spring scales. You guys have slightly smaller spring scales. In the blue boxes, you have little disc weights. So, here's what you're going to do to record the data. There's 2 things you need to record. One is how much mass you put on the hanger. So that's going to be 1 column. 1 column is going to be mass, but in kilograms. Okay? 1 column is mass. You can get the mass right from those discs. You just have to add them all up. Some of them are 20 grams, some of them are 50 grams. So those are the masses. You're going to put those masses on the little hanger. Now if you look carefully at the little blue hangers, how much mass do they have? 5 grams. So don't forget to add the mass of the hanger. So here's what you're going to do. All of the masses are measured in grams, like written on there. Like the little discs are in grams. The little blue hanger things are in grams. We have to convert to kilograms. What's kilo mean?
Small. Smaller.
Kilo means 1,000. So there's an example on the lab sheet of how to go from grams into kilograms. Basically, you're going to take a mass and add mass every time. If you have a scale that looks like this is the longer scale, the bigger scale, I would go by about 20 grams every time. That's basically adding a 20-gram disc every time.
So we're changing the mass to see what the weight.
You're changing the mass to see what the weight is from the scale. If you have the smaller ones that are kind of fatter but smaller, you can go by 50 grams every time there. Okay? So basically all you're doing is putting more and more mass to see how much the gravity force is. Go.
So in this lab, would control be gravity?
I'll let you guys figure out the controls and stuff. Okay. So,
I think it is.
are you guys good? Experiment 1. There's 2 columns. You're choosing how much mass to put on here. Either add 20 grams every time or add 50 grams every time. And then you have to record what the newtons are from the scale.
What was the point of the clock thing?
That was just a bigger, this is identical,
10 o'clock.
This is an identical scale, it's just bigger, so you guys can read the numbers from far back.
So we don't have to do that?
No, this is just for me for demonstration. You can stop recording things.